Good morning, traders. It is 8:02 a.m. Chicago time, 9:02 Eastern U.S. time on Wednesday, the 25th of October, 2017. Again, it's Wednesday, hump day, middle of the week. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. The overall condition this morning, markets sentiment this morning is to the sell side. It's risk averse this morning. I see red across the board, except for just barely. The U.S. dollar is up 0.01, uh, 0.01 to unchanged, and RBOB gasoline is up 0.4%. Everything else is red. The U.S. Treasury is the leader, down. The U.S. Treasury bond, and that is down one handle at 0.66%. A few major numbers came out overnight, especially out of the UK. GDP was stronger, came in at 0.4 versus 0.3. We also got durable goods in the U.S. Came in a lot stronger, 2.2% versus 1.0. Durable X transports at 0.7 versus 0.5. So that's part of the driver there. As far as what we're looking for going into this morning, we just got the FHFA housing price index. It's a lower tier number, but at 10 o'clock today Eastern, we're looking for new home sales for September, expecting 554. And then at the same time, we're getting the Bank of Canada rate decision. We should be looking for crude oil inventories at 10:30 Eastern. Crude oil is expected to show a draw of 3 million barrels, distillates a draw of 500,000, and gasoline a draw of 1 million. As far as speakers, just not seeing anything on deck for speakers. And then after the market, we're likely to see earnings from Visa and Amgen. So that's what we've got ahead of us. Taking a look at what we expected yesterday. Here we go. So yesterday we talked in depth about the triple distribution profile. We talked about the cutoffs at 69 and a quarter, 69.75, 66, and I talked about the potential if the market becomes responsive early, the strong potential push to 69.75, pull back, consolidate, and then continue higher for 73 as the primary hypothesis does not, or the primary scenario. It'll take me a while to get rid of this hypothesis word that I've been using for years. It's a primary trade plan and scenario that didn't work. The secondary is what we got. We were looking for a test up to 69.75, right? We talked about this, 69.75. The market got to a quarter. It got to a quarter, and then it rotated down. We were looking for a test of 66 for a bounce back up. That's a pretty tight range for a Tuesday. It ended up catching the point of control below. Here's what the ES did. Let me pull up the ES. Here we go. Let's clean this up a little bit and not forget that I did do that. Zoom in. Okay, so we open up. We test 69 and a quarter. Remember, 75 is what we're looking for, 69.75. And then we immediately find sellers. The opening type was open rejection reverse or open test drive. Drive being 5 points. It had a 5-point drop right at the open, consolidated, and then continued lower through the 66 here. This is the 66. Through the 66 down to the point of control, and it just walked itself back up to break the IB high, which was frankly unexpected. with a sell later as the news on the Fed president straw poll was announced. There was a quick drop. Overall, the market yesterday was completely balanced. Right, we have a Gaussian profile with a point of control right at the upper end. We have range extension up. The market did not go neutral yesterday. It showed some strength. The point of control at 67.50. We extend the this composite out to find that the point of control shifted up, shifted down, and the composite all of a sudden is starting to look more balanced, and we're at the lower end of it. We are at the value low of the composite at 63 here, trading at 63.75. It looks to me like it's anybody's guess this morning. It could easily rotate up, but what we have over several days here is a market that went somewhat impulsive down, 14 points or so, and then pulled back to about the mid. See, this is also the mid of this whole day. This is the mid of that day right there. We pulled back to about the mid of the impulse, and then we started to make it lower. And what this could look like on a multi-day wave is a push, pull, and then higher low down here where we are. And then if we exceed 25.70 and a quarter, then we're looking at new highs once again. So pay attention to this high area, 69.75, 70 and a quarter, really key right now. This is a big area right here. With a higher low, we're likely to push to new highs at 76.75. Otherwise it's a classic impulse pullback, consolidate, continuation, and we start to move into the lower balance here, the lower MC, which would make for better trading, in my opinion, to make for better trading in the longer term. Okay, so looking at the overnight, here's what we have for the overnight session. The overnight session had pretty good volume once again, so we're likely to see some pretty good rotations yet again today. Just traded down and then sideways for most of the session, and then on the European Open, it made that low and then just went sideways. The overnight profile has strong kurtosis. You can see how sharp it is. Very sharp, very low standard deviation on the curve there, or very tight range for the first standard deviation, which tells us there's a lot of energy built into this. We are 100%, the overnight inventory is 100% short on price, so we're looking for that little correction up. We're trading and are stuck again, just like we were yesterday on the low. We are stuck again at the mid of this gap. The gap remains here. Yes, it was tested the night before. It was tested to the tick. Last night we went through it by about a point, but the gap still remains intact as it was not tested ever during the day session when the underlying equities are trading. So overall, this looks like it's likely to start out by drifting up as we come in session. So with that being said, let's take a look at what we're doing here. We're currently trading down here on the edge of the range. I'm looking for the market to become immediately responsive and find sellers to push and breach that low of this composite and finish off this low of the gap. I'm looking for it to push through, get down into the next zone here, the next composite area, find a base, and then shift up later in the session. So I'm looking for a high that's just above this value area or so of about 60, 66 or so, 66 from yesterday, and then looking for sellers to step in. I'll be looking to get short if I see that it's printing weak on the 66 or 66 and a quarter or so, and I see there's weak printing. If I detect an iceberg selling in that area, I'll look to join with a small unit size or minimal unit size, and then as it starts to rotate, look to hit the bid, hit the bid, hit the bid, add to the position, and then scale out right at the composite low, scale out ahead of the overnight low to benefit from that stat, um, overnight stat, and then be clear as we hold a runner, but be clear as we push into the micro composite from the prior micro composite. Okay, and so that's what I'm looking for scenario number one. Scenario number one is a seller. Given that the overnight inventory is lower, I do see it pushing higher early. But if we continue to push lower, breach the low, and we see it consolidating with an impulse up, that gives you a clear shot at the point of control from yesterday at 67 quarter as well as 68. And so I'm looking for to pull back, consolidate, and I'm looking to push for. So I'm not getting long until I see it back in the range. Okay. And so if that's the scenario, then I'm looking for a push into 67.50, 68 for scenario two. And as far as all this buffering is concerned, I don't know what the deal is. I'm getting everybody to look at it. Your likes help me get attention when I do reach out to YouTube. And of course, everybody's pointing at everybody else. The broadband company, um, the broadband company is pointing at YouTube. The YouTube's pointing at the broadband. I think it is the broadband company. I think it is Comcast because I'm in the office and I use the fiber line there. Um, it's fine. So to me, it seems like it would be a better play to pre-record it and release it unbroken, but it also puts me away from the 8 o'clock move and the open. So it's not as the reason I do it live is because I want to talk about it while it's happening. But that's what we have. I don't have time for the Russell today again. Uh, good luck with that. Good luck with your planning and trading for the day. I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care.